Melissa Fleming, A Hope More Powerful Than the Sea, One Refugee's Incredible Story of Love, Loss, and Survival. Transport yourself to the heart of Syria, a land rich in history yet marred by turmoil, as we delve into the remarkable journey of Doaa Alzamal in A Hope More Powerful Than the Sea. Authored by Melissa Fleming, this poignant narrative paints a vivid portrait of love, loss, and survival against the backdrop of the Syrian civil war and the ensuing refugee crisis. Through Doaa's lens, readers traverse the harrowing realities of political strife and the indomitable quest for freedom. The story captures the raw power of human resilience and courage as Doaa and her family make a perilous journey across continents in search of safety and hope. Expect to be moved by themes of unfaltering hope amidst despair, the strength found in human connections, and the audacious spirit to grasp at dreams of a new life despite overwhelming odds.
Dawn of Discontent. A tapestry of fertile lands, Doaa in southwest Syria once echoed with the sounds of bustling agricultural markets, its figs, apples, olives, and pomegranates feeding distant lands. Yet, the benevolent rain clouds turned their backs in 2007, and Syria faced a relentless drought. As once thriving fields withered, farmers abandoned their heritage, flooding into cities like Doaa in search of survival. This upheaval sowed the seeds of unrest, which exploded into the dramatic protests of 2011, setting the stage for the grim Syrian civil war. But to understand this turmoil, we rewind to 2001, a time when Doaa was still a peaceful refuge. A new chapter was unfolding in Syria under Bashar al-Assad, the new president succeeding his father, Hafez. There was a flicker of optimism in the hearts of Syrians, including the young Doaa Alzamal, whose childhood was painted with hopes of newfound freedoms. The oppressive emergency law that silenced voices seemed poised to end, sparing a glimpse of a liberated era. Yet, year after year, this vision remained elusive. Then came 2010, and with it, the spark of Mohamed Bouazizi, a young Tunisian who set himself ablaze out of despair. His act of defiance fueled the fires of the Arab Spring, resonating through the streets of Doaa and beyond. Excitement intermingled with fear as the air buzzed with the possibility of change. Among those ignited by this tremor was Doaa, a child of traditions but a dreamer of untethered aspirations. As protests rippled across the Arab world, hope surged through the Alzamal family and countless others, eager to see how this wave of transformation would reshape their Syrian home. Seeds of Revolution. A nation in chaos ignites a domino effect in the Middle East after the tragic self-immolation of a humble Tunisian fruit vendor. This act of despair leads to protests that challenge the decades-long rule of President Zine El Abidine Ben Ali, resulting in his historic ouster on January 14, 2011. Suddenly, the unthinkable seems possible. Could the entrenched rulers of the Middle East actually be overthrown? Soon, Egypt erupts in protests, and whispers of dissent reverberate through Syria. In the Syrian city of Doaa, 16-year-old Doaa witnesses the spark of revolution. Innocent graffiti by schoolboys, one being a veiled threat to President Bashar al-Assad referencing his medical career, leads to their harsh arrests. Ahmad, a 14-year-old acquaintance of Doaa, returns from detention subdued and traumatized, bearing signs of torture. His grim testimony fans the flames of local protests. Streets transform into arenas of defiance. From her grandfather's rooftop, Doaa sees the peaceful demonstrations down in the plaza. Protesters wield olive branches and hold signs pleading for freedom. The security forces' brutal response, however, is unavoidable. Tear gas is followed by live ammunition, shattering the hope for a peaceful resolution. Overcome by tear gas, Doaa witnesses her fellow citizens fall under the assault of a government she once respected. This brutal reality unravels her illusions and ignites a personal revolution within her. Weeks pass, and A Refugee's Odyssey. In November 2012, Syria was engulfed in a relentless revolution, prompting countless families to flee, including Doaa's. Facing death and displacement, the Alzamal family embarked on a perilous journey to find safety, setting their sights on Egypt. Their escape route led them through Jordan, where border challenges intensified amid demands for bribes. Remarkably, a stroke of luck came when Doaa's uncle, selling newspapers nearby, managed to secure their passage. Crossing into Egypt, they received unexpected warmth from Egyptian officials and found a welcoming Syrian community in Damietta. Amid the struggles of refugee life, Doaa's path intersected with Bassem, a former Syrian barber with a storied past linked to the Free Syrian Army. His persistence gradually won over her initial hesitations, culminating in a marriage proposal that Doaa embraced after overcoming her doubts through family discussions. Yet, their newfound happiness was short-lived as political unrest in Egypt and financial strains cast a long shadow on their future. With looming uncertainties, they contemplated venturing to Europe in search of stability and hope, unified in their resolve to seek a transformative change. Courage across the sea. After much soul-searching, Doaa and Bassem decided to leave behind the political and social chaos they faced by venturing to Europe. Bassem initially suggested going alone, but Doaa insisted on sharing the daunting Mediterranean crossing together. Their first attempt met with disaster as they were swindled, robbed, and detained. Yet, their resolve did not waver. The dream of a safer, better future fueled their willingness to try again. Finally, the moment came, September 6, 2014. Joining hundreds of other refugees, they embarked on their journey aboard an old fishing trawler, which, with its peeling blue paint and rust, was a far cry from reassuring. Designed for catching fish, the boat now bore the hopes of about 500 souls, all cramped and relentlessly battered by waves. Despite the oppressive conditions, a spirit of solidarity blossomed among the passengers. Doaa and Bassem, like the others, clung to the hope the voyage instilled despite the constant fear. Each wave and false life jacket intensified their anxiety, but whispers that Italy was just 19 hours away offered a fragile thread of optimism. Amidst the peril, they dared to dream of a new life in Europe. Hope amidst the waves. Suddenly, a fragile piece shattered as the echo of an engine grew ominously near. It was not merely mechanical noise but accompanied by the menacing cries of approaching aggressors. As a fishing boat loomed ominously closer, it barreled ahead without hesitation. The explosive impact toppled those on board, flinging wooden splinters and seawater across the refugee boat. In a harrowing moment of chaos, Doaa and Bassem clung to the boat's railing, desperate to steady themselves and praying not to be swept away. Relentless in their assault, a second crash sent the vessel plunging, water swallowing everything in its path. Panic erupted, with cries for help lost beneath the rising tide. Doaa found herself submerged, trapped among plastic rice sacks, fighting for every breath against the waves. Struggling back to the surface, the tranquil sea she once knew now lay transformed into a nightmarish landscape of devastation, colored red by the wreckage around her. Despite the chaos, Bassem appeared, clutching a blue ring, visibly weakened but still intact. He vowed to Doaa they would survive this ordeal. Embracing each other for warmth, they fought the creeping exhaustion and icy cold. Time stretched painfully, seeming to drag into days, as saltwater took its harsh toll on Bassem, weakening his hold. Nearing despair, a new figure emerged, an older man, struggling through the water with a tiny baby named Malik in his arms. With frailty seeping into his own limbs, he pleaded with Doaa to care for the child, a request that might have broken a lesser spirit. Yet, driven by sheer resilience, Doaa cradled the infant, offering what little warmth and solace she could muster. Bassem, wrestling with fatigue, gently caressed Malik, but even the slight gesture drained his strength. Amid dwindling energy, he whispered words of silver and family, fragments of thoughts from a distant, untroubled world. Doaa, striving to keep his spirit engaged, humored him through her underlying fear of what loomed ahead. Soon, Bassem's determined grip faltered. Her anguished cries echoed unanswered, a stranger confirming the worst of her fears. Bassem had succumbed. While many shared his fate that day, for Doaa, the loss was soul-crushing. The desire to follow him into the depths nearly overwhelmed her, yet the faint grasp of Malik served as an emotional anchor, tethering Doaa back from despair's edge. Faced with this new reality, she embraced a solemn purpose, the nurturing of the small life now in her care. The sea had claimed much from Doaa, yet it couldn't extinguish her burgeoning resolve to kindle hope and secure a more promising future for Malik, away from the darkness they narrowly escaped. Unyielding Spirit. Amid the heart-wrenching reality of 500 passengers embarking from Egypt in search of a new beginning, Doaa emerged as a beacon of resilience when only 11 survived. Stranded on the turbulent sea, with everyone else succumbing to tragedy, Doaa found herself clutching 2 infants, Masa and Malik. Despite the relentless waves and her own immense grief, she sang and recited verses from the Quran, seeking solace for herself and the children. Driven by an unyielding will, she became their guardian in a harrowing 4-day ordeal without food, her strength waning, and her voice hoarse from unanswered cries for help. Just as her spirit began to falter, hope appeared in the form of a distant ship and the echo of voices. Depleted and exhausted, Doaa struggled to articulate her plea for help, desperately shouting what words she could remember. Her valiant efforts were finally rewarded and a merchant ship spotted them and rescued 11 survivors from the grasp of the sea. In safety on the shores of Crete, Doaa reached out to her sister Ayat but couldn't yet bring herself to share the heartbreaking news of Basim's death. While grateful for the sanctuary Crete provided, the ever-present sea served as a painful reminder of her past trauma and lost dreams. The kind Greek locals offered her support, but Doaa's heart yearned for the hope of Sweden, a dream once shared with Basim. Her journey wasn't only for herself, it carried the weight of her family's future. When the author encountered Doaa in January 2015, her story transcended mere survival. It crystallized the themes of courage and an unyielding determination to alter her family's destiny, reflecting the broader plight faced by countless refugees. Each day, tales of despair and displacement emerged from Syria, yet Doaa's story shone through, a testament to the strength of the human spirit refusing to capitulate to despair. Upon finally reaching Sweden, Doaa was celebrated with the prestigious OPEC Fund for International Development's annual award, recognizing her heroic efforts in saving Masa and Malik. Standing before the world, she was not only a testament to her own journey but a voice for the innumerable souls lost at sea, embodying the hope all refugees carry for a brighter future. Her words during the acceptance speech were more than a personal account, they illuminated the ongoing tragedy of refugees lost to the sea and highlighted their immense potential if offered a chance to thrive.
Doaa Alzamal's extraordinary story, as captured in Melissa Fleming's A Hope More Powerful Than the Sea, leaves readers with a profound reflection on the human spirit's resilience. Her journey from the war-torn streets of Syria to the harrowing depths of the Mediterranean Sea underscores the tragic cost of conflict and the relentless pursuit of a better life. Despite immense personal loss, Doaa's unwavering strength and her act of saving 2 young lives serve as a testament to hope and humanity amidst adversity. Her narrative not only highlights the plight of millions displaced by war but also emphasizes the potential within each refugee when given the chance. As you close this chapter, you are reminded of the enduring power of love, the courage found in unity, and the urgent need for compassion in a world where so many seek a safe haven. Doaa's resilience is a call to action, urging us to stand with those who dream of a future free from conflict and fear.